Happy Friday, Facebook world. It's Frank and Angela's show. I'm Frank Van Dyke. This is
Angela.
And we're Frangela.
Frangela.
Hope everyone's having a great Friday today. We're a little behind.
Yes, we're a little behind, which is funny because we put it out there, what people would like to talk about today. And hi, Jenna. And one of our friends, Walt, wanted to know how we balance things. So I don't know if we're all that great at balancing, but we're going to try. Okay, so really quickly, I just want this on my Facebook page.
So yeah, we do our best to balance. I think balance is a misnomer in that, you know, there's really not such a thing as balance. We're all trying to balance everything in our life, you know, God, our family, how we make income, our health, mental, spiritual, physical, and really it's impossible to do so.
Yeah.
What I've learned, I read this great book, and I wish I could remember the title for you guys, but if you ever see it, it has a green cover, and it has like a trapeze walker on the front of it. But the first part of it talked about like the Gambisi brothers or something that were this multi-generational family of tightrope walkers. And what they said that was really interesting to me, because I always would beat myself up. You know, I'm either too heavy on this side, too heavy on this side. Most of the time, too heavy on work, as you can see my shirt today. Where is it? Pretty much true.
That's his life.
So I have a tendency to neglect family and friends often when it comes to that. So what this book talked about is one of the guys, you know, they were saying, wow, how do you guys do this where you always have this balance all the time? He said, here's a trick. When you step off the platform, know that you're going to be a little heavy to the left or a little heavy to the right. And then you're going to be about the middle, and then you're going to be heavy to the left and heavy to the right. And you're always going to be that way. And the key is not to stop. So if you stop, you're going to fall over. So you just got to keep walking that tightrope, and eventually you'll get to the other side. And then, you know, hopefully everything bounces out and you'll go splat on the ground.
Well, because splatting is bad. So what I had to learn, and I learned this from Frank because I was all about balance. I'm like, oh, you have to be balanced. You have to be balanced. Like you have to put in the same amount to your family as you put into work, as you put into play, as you put into everything. But we're always stressed out trying to maintain the proper balance when in reality, you really can't balance everything equally. So, I mean, you take if you gave 8 hours to sleep, like anyone ever gets 8 hours of sleep, not in this house. But if you took the 8 hours that you're supposed to have sleeping every night, that leaves you 16 hours left. So you have 8 hours for work, 8 hours for family, and that's pretty much what your day ideally would look like. But if you think about it realistically, most people get to bed in our age group around 11-ish. We try. I always say I'm going to go to bed earlier than that, but 11 is about time that I get to bed. So if I'm sleeping from 11 to 7, and then I'm up, yeah, like I ever get to sleep till 7. But just for the sake of this conversation, say I get to sleep from 11 to 7, and then from 7 to 3 p.m. is the time I'm supposed to give to work, and then 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. is family time. And that's so unrealistic. And so once I understood that balance isn't really as serious as people think it is. It's not as strict. It's not a strict formula to balancing life and kids and work. You really can't, because I don't think anyone would be in business if they only work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. None of us would have a job. Like none of us would get any work done trying to make sure the pie is perfect. So I think that what I've learned with Frank, because he works so much, is that you just it's okay to be off balance. It's okay to put a little bit more weight in work, or a little bit more weight. For me, it's a little bit more weight at home. So our off balance balances us, because he's putting more time into work because one of us has to. I'm putting more time into home because one of us has to. And so us being that off balance keeps everything balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just important to communicate that. I do think it's easier if you have a 9-to-5 job. I know so many of our friends are in the real estate world and self-employed, and so that's more difficult. But if you have a 9-to-5, maybe you can have a little more balance in your life because you're on a much more set schedule. You don't have clients, you know, calling you at 10:30 at night or putting off the game, or they want to see some properties first thing in the morning you weren't planning on. And which is okay for me. Again, I work a ton. I enjoy it. I'm great at what I do, and I'm blessed that I get to pick and choose who I work with. So I'm not internet marketing and having to work with just random people. All my business is word of mouth and referrals. So my joke to my clients is only refer me your cool friends and family and none of the grumpy ones. So I don't mind taking a call at 10:30 at night because it's from somebody that I've probably made a friendship with versus someone that's just as a cranky Zillow lead or whatever people are doing out there.
Yeah. And I think that like what Frank just said about I think you have to be open to everything. I think you have to be open to what you need. I think as a family, as a household, you have to be open to what you need. You have to understand, okay, we need family time. We need this. As an individual, you have to be open with what you need. And I'm really open with Frank. Like, he knows everything. Like, he never has to guess what's going on with me or what do I need, or if I need more attention, or if he's giving me too much attention. Like, he understands that I'm really good at communicating that with him. But I think that what we have to do is be open to the balancing act too. Like, we have to be open enough to say, okay, well, Frank, you've been working all day today for all day. I haven't been able to get you to answer this question about what you want for dinner. So I have to demand some of that time back. So while he's out and he's working his butt off, I have to be able to communicate well enough to say to him, okay, you need to pull some weight back over to this side of home, and he does it to me too. Like, when he thinks I'm slacking with work, he does it to me. He's like, Angela, I need you to shift some weight to work. He doesn't use those words, but just, because we're talking about balancing, he tells me when I need to shift more weight back to work. You really need to send out those, postcards to your past clients that I've been telling you to do for 2 or 3 days. Like, he'll tell me that, and I'm open to it. He may have to tell me a couple days in a row, and then I have to squeeze it into whatever else I'm trying to balance. But I think that it's important with trying to balance a household is being able to shift the weight where it's needed, because sometimes he'll lock himself in his office and I won't see him all day, and he's calling clients and doing this and doing that, and I'm like, you know what? It's my time right now. So whatever piece of paper you're trying to get to escrow is going to have to wait because I've let you do that all day. And so you're going to have to shift some weight back over to family side, because I need you too, or the kids need you, or we were going to watch a movie, or whatever the situation is. So yeah, I don't think it's so important to worry about being balanced. It's just important to be open enough and receptive enough. That's the word, right? Receptive. Yeah. You have to be receptive enough to what's going on around you that you are able to shift the balance where it's needed. So if you're overworking because that's just what you do, then you just have to be able to understand when someone says, okay, you got to shift some weight back over to family side. And for me, same thing. When I'm putting too much into the kids, or too much into the grocery list, or too much into what we're having for dinner.
Facebook.
I do not put that much time into Facebook. Okay. But he has to tell me, hey, you got to shift some weight back over to work. And then normally I'm receptive.
Yes. And sometimes I'm receptive too. So it's a give and take. It's all about the communication. The better you communicate, the better you can do. And I think really making sure that the family understands what your goals are. Mm-hmm. And even with my daughter, I have my daughter on the weekends most of the time. And so sometimes that poor kid has done more open houses and seen more houses than most realtors in our town. But, when she was younger, I could kind of fool her. And now she's 13, so she can hang out on her own for a little bit. But, even then it was more about, hey, Dad's got to make that milk money. So we're going to do this for a while. I know it's not going to be the most fun thing in the world for you, but here's a trade-off. We're going to go see a movie or have ice cream or go roller skating or take the dogs for a walk or something like that. So she gets it. And the same thing with Angela. Angela is definitely the social director of the group. I'm the more of the hunter, and I could just grind and grind and grind. And I'm cool with that. Not that I don't like hanging out with our friends, but we just had that conversation. Like, hey, babe, we, just took the family on a cruise, and that was like $15,000. So on my credit card. So me, whoever has to work hard and get that paid off.
Yeah.
Or, we want to take another trip. So how are we going to do that? So it's just fun. And to me, it's more about, again, I hate the word balance because I think it's impossible and it just puts too much pressure on us. I just look at, you got to keep everything harmonious.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can really have that harmony in your family, that's going to be a much better thing.
Yeah.
And being protective of your time.
Yeah. You have to be protective of your time. And we get off schedule all the time. Like Frank is super good about having a schedule. Like he's super good about, I'm blocking off this time for this. I'm blocking off this time. He tries to encourage me to do it, but what he fails to understand is that I can block off all day. It doesn't mean that my life runs by that schedule. Because if a kid cries, like Sabrina said, we had to stop and change a diaper before I did this. That's my life. Like I can't always go by schedules, and then I get distracted. If I stop to change a diaper, then the baby wants to play, and then I'm singing Dora songs, and then Frank's like, Angela, I thought you blocked off this time to do postcards or to call your past clients. So what are you doing down there singing Dora?
What's Donald Trump tweeting?
Well, I like to know what's going on in the world.
Yes.
Sorry.
And I figure my Facebook friends will tell me so.
Yes, because he gets his news from his Facebook friends. I actually get my news from real news.
Mm-hmm. Anywho.
And so, yeah, I think that the whole balancing thing is really just about shifting the weight where it needs to be shifted to, and not being stressed out about, we have to give 8 hours to family. We have to give 8 hours to sleep. We have to give 8 hours to work. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. And I think it's too stressful to try to do it that way. So I think it's a lot better when we understand that, okay, you like giving 15 hours a day to work. I prefer to give 15 hours to family, but I understand that I need to at least give 4 or 5 hours to work today. And then because he's doing so much with work, I get to do more with home. So home doesn't fall apart. Our finances don't fall apart. So it's all just about shifting the weight where it's needed and not putting so much pressure on yourself to stick to a schedule. Well, you want to stick to a schedule, but not putting so much pressure on yourself to divide all your time equally, because it's not going to work out that way. You just have to know what's important for today, and that's where I'm going to put the most of my weight. And that's never going to be balanced. That not balancing works.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be flexible. You got to know what your, again, going back to your goals and what things that you're not going to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I try to take a few hours Wednesday afternoons. I pick up my daughter from school in Moreno Valley at 1:00, and she has minimum day that day, and we go catch a movie or do something fun. And nothing gets in the way of that unless I happen to be out of town. Even, trips, I try and schedule around that. So I've turned away a lot of business and important meetings and things because that's just a non-negotiable for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you got to put those things in, as I was saying about take the container, put the big rocks in, put all the little rocks in, all that stuff. So it's the little things, that get in the way and bite us.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask, the audience right now, hey, have you ever been bitten by an elephant? Probably no one's going to say yes, right? But if you say you've been bitten by a mosquito, most people are going to say yes. So it's the little things in life that are annoying and can get there. So different than Angela, I'm really big, again, about that time blocking, making sure that you do stuff, making sure you're protective of your time. I'm starting to look at things and where I'm very free with all my time. It's that you got a minute that'll kill you. I've worked in big offices before. If you have a little success, everybody wants 5 minutes of your time. It turns into half an hour. And I'm very giving. People have helped me along the way, and I'd love to give back to people. But when you realize it's okay, that person just took 5 minutes, turned into 45 minutes, and I see them next week, whether it's a friend that's going through a relationship problem or somebody struggling with work or whatever, and you waste all your time and they don't do anything with it.
Well,
so that's what gets frustrating.
Yeah, and Frank is really bad at that. He tries to be good at it, but he is really bad at allowing people to take his time because he's so generous that he'll just have everyone wanting to ask him a question, and then he'll be working and answering someone's question, and then an hour later I'm talking to him. I'm like, you're talking to the same person? Like, what are you talking about? But he's like one of those listening ears, and people like to talk to him about everything, and he likes to listen. Like, he really is passionate about people, so he'll listen. Like, I have ways to excuse myself from a conversation. I have the conversations I want to excuse myself from, some I don't want to, but I have a way of dismissing, it's an unproductive time block that I had, or unproductive moment that I have in my time block because someone is draining the time. But Frank is not really, he's getting better.
Yeah. One of the things I've really challenged myself to do here lately is that if it's not a resounding hell yes, then it's a no, and saying more than I say yes. And it's hard sometimes. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of little things like, hey, can you join this group or be in this meeting or this sort of thing. And then there's a lot of things that are just hard. Again, it's going back to that, trying to find that harmony and stay focused on your goals, because if you say yes too much to other people and their goals, you're not going to achieve yours. And even just this week, I mean, I had my best friend from Oregon in town for the weekend at the Pomona off-road show. He's a vendor there, had tickets, would have been fun to do, couldn't do it because of Oregon. Yesterday, one of our girlfriend's birthday party, it would have been fun. Angela said,
happy birthday, Tanya.
1 hour, 1 hour always turns to 4 hours. So would love to have taken a break and done that. But, I look at that, I already worked till about 11 o'clock at night anyway. So if I would get home at 10, 11 o'clock, the real estate elves are not going to knock that stuff out while I'm out partying and drinking. So, now I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning and then back up at 5:30.
But
so it just
that
doesn't
was
work.
me balancing our social life because
Right.
you
so
had to
I
work.
Angela is
so
a social
I had
person.
to go and, maintain that friendship because she's special to us. And since we both couldn't be there, I was willing to be there and have a couple drinks for Frank.
Yeah. Our friends Mike and Jenny going to the river this weekend, invited us. Can't do it. So, it's tough when you have those things. And that's where we're trying to get through is we're still rocked a little bit, from having 3 babies. And a teenager that we weren't expecting to be providing with financially. And then obviously, our income getting cut in half with Angela being more full-time nanny than killing in real estate like she used to. So, it's an adjustment. You just got to keep talking and smiling at each other and figure it out.
And communicating.
Put your goals.
Communicating is the biggest thing. Like if he needs something more from me, he tells me. And I oblige, and opposite. If I need a little bit more family time, I'll bug him to death. Babe, you have to give us an hour to watch a movie. Babe, you have to do this. And, he makes it happen. So I think just knowing where to shift the balance to is important, and being able to communicate, hey, I need more time from you on this. And Angela, I need you to work a little bit more today. So hi, Cousin Regina. We're still here. We're live. So that's how that works.
And then I think what happens, where the snap usually happens is not, definitely it can be in your family. Nobody wants to be working all the time and like, great, I'm a success and now I have no family or friends. But often, you give up yourself too. So that's kind of the struggle. Like sometimes that's where I get frustrated as you work. It's like, okay, I got a couple cool cars. I haven't even seen my Lincoln in storage in 3 months. Just rode my motorcycle for the first time in a couple months. So it gets frustrating. So you just got to figure things out. Like for me, honestly, I'm not a morning person, but I get up at 5:30 in the morning because that gives me a couple hours. The world owns me at 7:30. So that gives me a couple hours to get to the gym, do a little meditation, have a little breakfast, and just relax a little bit and do some Frankie B time. So I really suggest that if that's what it takes for you guys to do that, make sure you focus on yourself as well. Otherwise, everything else just doesn't seem like it becomes worth it.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's been 18 minutes.
Let's wrap it up.
Unless anyone has anything to say, we did want to pause for a moment today because it's been a tough week. It's been a tough month. The hurricanes, and I know a lot of my friends have friends in Puerto Rico. My dad lives in the Dominican Republic and my little brother. So that whole hurricane month that we had was really stressful for me personally. And then after I knew that my dad and little brother were in the clear, just for my friends watching what their families had to go through in different areas of the Caribbean. So with that, and then the shooting in Las Vegas, it's just been a tough week or tough month. It's been really tough. And I know that sometimes when you're going through stuff, it feels like the world is kind of not fair because the world keeps moving and you're grieving or hurt or in pain, or, you hope that everyone shifts their attention to whatever your cause is, but everyone has something going on that they feel is a bigger cause, and not that people don't care. It's just that we all have our stuff. There's just so much going on in the world. So we just wanted to take a moment today and just tell everyone that we love them and we feel your pain. You're going through something. I know I've seen a lot of Facebook friends know people who were shot in Vegas, and I see a lot of my Facebook friends who are trying to get food and supplies to their family in Puerto Rico. So we're touched, even though it feels like the world keeps going, we're here for you. And we just wanted to take a moment just to slow the day down, because everyone is always moving, just to give a moment of silence for, if you want to pray or meditate or be thankful, just however you want to seize the moment to acknowledge and honor the fact that there are a lot of people who feel frozen in their moment right now and that they're alone. So we just wanted to take a few seconds just to pause for the cause and to unite and love. So for the next maybe 30 seconds, we're just gonna give some time to silence to everyone who feels like their moment's frozen. We're just gonna freeze with you for a few seconds, okay? So if you're tuning in live, we're just going silent for 30 seconds or so, just in unity, okay? Okay, all right, I'm not sure if that was 30 seconds, but okay. So thanks everyone, as usual, for watching, for hanging out with us on this Friday. Thanks, Walt, for giving us a topic to talk about. So hopefully if you feel off balance, you understand now that it's okay. Not being balanced is not a bad thing. It actually works out. Things work out the way they're supposed to be.
And keep the questions coming. We're always looking for something to talk about other than the babies.
Yeah.
So Angela always has something to say about pretty much every topic, and I'll chime in where necessary. And we appreciate you guys. Aunt Mary, hi. Love you. Thanks for watching.
Hi. And then if you guys have not...
Pam, you too.
Hi, Pam. If you haven't caught our other lives, scroll down and check out our other ones. They're pretty informative and fun. So this is our third Friday live. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you for hanging out with us and for commenting and liking and sharing. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.
See you guys next Friday. Bye.